Welcome back to Digital Wandering. And today I wanted to talk about buying brand new Macs and some strategies you could use. And I'm going to go through a few strategies that I think are helpful if you're in the market for buying a brand new Mac. I may not say this enough, but I do really suggest buying brand new machines when possible and if you can afford it. I get a lot of used machines on this channel and I've demoed them many times, so I'm not against getting used machines. Some of the machines I'm going to be showing on this very video is going to be used machines. But if you are someone who is considering buying a brand new MacBook or Mac computer, I want to give you some strategies that you can use. Now, I'm only looking at laptops here, so I'm not looking at desktops, but I want to go back in time here to show how these strategies would play out if you decided to use them. So we're going back to the year 2000, and what I have here is the iBook G3 clamshell, and I've shown my clamshell multiple times, mostly to show the operating system, the macOS operating system, macOS 9, that is on this, the classic Mac operating system. But this is the actual machine, and you just can see what this looks like in the classic handle, which is, I don't think this has ever been really used because it's very stiff, which is a good thing. So this is the iBook clamshell, and this was the consumer laptop that Apple was offering in the year 2000. And what I'm also looking at here is the cheapest machines that Apple offers, just their introductory consumer laptops through the years, and what it would look like if you use this particular buying strategy. So in the year 2000, they had a few different models of the iBook G3 clamshell in the year 2000. This is the one that came out earlier in the year. But the ones that came out later in the year, I think every Mac.com says about September of the year 2000. Those are the ones that you want. They're the same price. These came out at about $1,800, but they had more storage and more processing power. So those are the ones that you would want to get. If you waited till the end of the year and you're going to get a consumer laptop, get the later model clamshells. And those are important because they are the most upgradable when it comes to macOS. The later model clamshells from the year 2000, you can get them as far as macOS 10.4 Tiger. 10.4 Tiger came out in the year 2005, and it was supported. The mainstream support lasted for 4 years, the year 2009. But according to Wikipedia, you still had an additional year of support for Safari and iTunes. So 5 years in total, but mainstream support was 4 years. So if you rolled out to the end, upgrading this device along the way to get to macOS 10.4 Tiger, you could have support all the way up to the year 2010. So that's really important. So that gives you 10 years of support with this device. And in 2010, if you were in the market to upgrade, I'm going to show you something else here, which I've shown multiple times. Seems like every other video, I have my 2010 MacBook in it. So this is the 2010 MacBook. This is the cheapest laptop you could get from Apple during that time period. $999, $1,000. And it would have been a huge upgrade. One thing you got to look at here, we're going from PowerPC to Intel. So you're actually changing over to a different chip architecture here. Major upgrade. And that's one of the values of this 10-year upgrade strategy, is that when you do upgrade, the device that you get is going to be vastly superior to the device that you're leaving. And even though this is not the most powerful laptop that Apple offered during that time period, it's going to be a major upgrade from what you had before and extremely cost effective because it's the cheapest that they offered. So this is 2010. It would have come with macOS Snow Leopard as the installed operating system. And if you continue to use this and upgrade it along the way to the available macOS operating systems that were released for this during that time frame, you could take this device as far as macOS High Sierra, which was released in 2017, and that was supported. macOS High Sierra, Apple supports currently their operating system for about 3 years. Support ended for macOS High Sierra in late 2020. So now we're at the end of the time frame for this particular device. The 2010 MacBook, at least as far as support goes, is still running very well. But now that the support is out for this device, you may be looking to upgrade again. And now we are at the present day. The current MacBook Air, still $999. I think this price is considered the sweet spot for Apple for their cheapest laptops, because that's the same price. And let me just take it out of the sequence here for a second. This is my 2007 MacBook, my first MacBook. I've showed it on the channel many times. This is also $999 off the shelf. So there hasn't really been a change in a number of years, at least since the last 14 years, on the intro price for these MacBooks. This seems to be the sweet spot, the $999 that we have here. And again, we're having a change in the architecture here. So you're going from Intel to M1 Mac. And I think that's the main beauty of this 10-year strategy, is that it's a massive upgrade when you finally decide to do so. The power and the features that you're getting when you're upgrading at that time frame is just magnificent. And even upgrading to the cheapest laptop offered is a major upgrade. So that's the beauty of this 10-year strategy, and I think it's something that is very good to use. Now, there is a couple of things that we can say here. One thing is, looking back in time, it's easy to map out the exact path that you would take along these 10 years to get the most bang for your buck. And that's what we're looking to do here. Now, when you're a new buyer, when you're buying a brand new device, you have no idea what the future is going to bring in any major way. I mean, anything is just speculation, just guessing. You don't know how long a device that you purchase in a given year, that company is going to support it. You can guess, but you don't really know. So looking back in time, we have the benefit of knowing what actually happened to know the exact path we would take to get the most bang for your buck. But you can't really know that in real time when you're buying a brand new computer in that moment. So the 10-year thing could be a little problematic, especially it's hard to keep devices for 10 years working. And especially near the end of that 10-year period, a lot of devices will start slowing down. It could be a real struggle using it, like using the iBook Clamshell in 2009 or 2008 as your main computer, when the computers around it have become more powerful and much more capable. That could be a struggle. Also, wear and tear. If you're using these computers to their full capabilities, you're traveling, you're doing a lot of stuff with them. These are mobile computers, so you're taking them everywhere you can. It can be a lot of wear and tear on machines. It could be really hard to get your machine to last 10 years. Plus, also, I haven't really talked about upgrades. These earlier models, like the iBook Clamshell and the 2010 MacBook, are serviceable. You can get inside these devices and upgrade them. And you would need to do that because like this iBook Clamshell came with 64 megabytes of RAM. That wasn't a suggested amount of RAM to use macOS 10. macOS 10, the early versions of it, they suggested 128 megabytes. Once you get to macOS Tiger, they're suggesting 256 megabytes as a minimum to run that operating system. So the 64 megabytes of RAM that you had in this earlier model wouldn't cut it. All these models that I have right now, I upgraded them. So I gave the intro prices, the $1,800 for the clamshells, the $1,000 for the others. But you're probably going to be putting more money into those devices to get the most out of them, especially over a 10-year period. That becomes a real problem once we get to the M1 Max because they're not serviceable. They're factory sealed, and so you don't have as many options to upgrade later on. So in the earlier days, you can get an under-spec machine knowing that you can get inside of it, add RAM, switch out the hard drive, do all types of stuff yourself. You could do it. And you don't have that option now in the year 2021 to service your Macs like you could in the past. So that's a problem going forward. So there's another strategy that I suggest. And that is, so buying a brand new Mac, like let's just go back here, like the M1 Mac. Now you can go here for the $999, and that's definitely a good starting point. But anytime you purchase a Mac, you can get the default minimum configuration. You can do that here. And this may be enough for you. Everything that you see here, the 8 gigabytes of memory, the 256 gigabytes of storage. But you can do add-ons, and that's an option here. You can go to something else. If the MacBook Air doesn't meet your needs, you can try something else. One other buying strategy, especially since these devices are not serviceable anymore. If all you have is $999, this is a great starting point, and this will probably meet 99% of my needs, the M1 Mac. But there's another thing, especially if you're going to keep these for many years, and I sometimes suggest is getting as much computer as you can afford. So if all you can afford is $999, and that can be a very significant price for many people, depending on how much their income is and what their expenses are, start here. But if you can afford $1,500, you can either look at adding on to this. If you're buying it from Apple, you have the option of doing add-ons. Or, as you see, you can add memory, you can add storage. You can do a lot of different things with this model, or you can even look at MacBook Pros if that's something that you're interested in, if you have the money. So if you're looking to hold on to these devices for as long as possible, one thing you can do is, now look at this. The MacBook Pro starts at another $300, $1,299. So, I mean, you could decide, hey, let me look at the MacBook Pros if I have a little extra money than that 1,000. So you can build on what you get or what you purchase based on the money that you have. And this gets around the fact that you can't service the device after the fact, and you definitely don't really know what you can't really say 100% what your needs are going to be in the future. So get as much as you can afford right now, especially if you're going to be using these devices for the long haul. So another thing you can do after you buy as much computer that you can afford is that you ride out with this computer until it's unsupported by Apple. And you can look at that in two ways. One way is until is not able to run a particular version of the operating system. So if you get this right now and it has macOS 11, and say it doesn't run macOS 15, so it's stuck on macOS 14, at that time you buy a brand new device. Or you ride out with macOS 14 until that's unsupported. Apple often supports their operating systems for 3 years. So you'll have 3 years of macOS 14, and then you buy a new computer that can run whatever the current version of macOS is at that time. Now, one thing is you can ride out that, like in that scenario, macOS 14 to the end. But another thing you can do is that when you find out you're stuck on macOS 14, that's when you purchase a brand new Mac. You purchase a brand new Mac that can run macOS 15. And you use your older Mac on macOS 14 as a backup machine. It still has some support left. Again, Apple, as long as they continue to do what they're doing right now, they support OS for 3 years. So you might still have a couple years left of support under macOS 14 in that scenario. You use it as a backup machine, you get a brand new machine, and your backup machine is still supported. So it's not completely out of support. I like to have as many supported machines as possible. When you just have one machine that can run current software, it can be a little dicey. If anything happens to that other machine, it starts to have problems. You still have a backup that you can use for certain things. So I always like to have a backup. And if that backup is still supported, that's an excellent thing. So in this situation or this strategy, you're not holding it to the very end like you did with the first strategy with 10 years. You're holding it to a point where the support starts to drop. And then before it's ended completely, you upgrade. So those are two different Apple buying strategies. There's probably many more buying strategies out there. And I would like to hear what your buying strategies are, if you have any ideas about any things that I've said. But I just want to thank you very much for watching. This is Digital Wandering signing off.